Oh, God. Ugh.
What's up?
Well, I've got this meeting I'm supposed to be going to with Valve, the storefront for the game
The
selling.
PC game people.
Yeah, yeah. Once was. But more the game...
The storefront for digital games.
Yeah, more the storefront game, but it's
Yeah.
just so stressful. They keep being like, oh, can you do this beforehand? Oh, can you do that beforehand? Oh, can you do the other thing beforehand? And I'm like, you're not paying me for my time. You're not really paying for this. You're like, I don't even really know how I got, roped into this. And frankly, I'm thinking about just blowing off steam. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnetdale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnetdale, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast where two queer trans women, that's us, we're wifey types, and also our lovely little kitty cat Smudge who's hanging out with us today.
May or may not attempt to nuzzle the microphone.
I mean, she does like to nuzzle the microphone. Where we talk about the media we've consumed in the week and have a bit of silly catch-up and do voices and whatnot.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Yeah.
It's a bit wetter than I'd like out, but...
It's really not August sunshine, as I would hope.
Well, I mean, we've not really had any of the other preceding months of sunshine either.
Yeah,
but...
we've really sort of missed out on a summer this year. Like,
yes.
Summer's just sort of buggered off a bit.
Spring, slightly more aggressive spring.
Autumn.
Longer spring. Deep autumn. Yeah, that's where we are.
Fun.
Indeed.
Well, have you consumed bits of media in the week? And if so, do you want to tell us about them? Maybe starting with things that you've played this week.
I'm tasting media. I'm gonna okay, I'll start with the thing. We're probably gonna skip through a few bits later on. But yeah, I played some Train Valley 2 because it was free on Epic a while ago and looked a bit like another game I kind of want to play, which is Station to Station. And it's like a puzzle game where you're trying to connect cities to things that they need. Do they need grain? Send the grain train to get the grain, and then come back. But also, do you need cow? Well, to get cow, you need grain, and you need to send the grain to the cow. But you also need to send the worker to the cow, and then they will send back the train.
Yeah, so I played a bit of this. This isn't one-to-one, but there's something about it that feels a bit sort of like Factorio and that sort of category of game. In that, like, it's a little bit of a connect the things to the things, make your little system where it's delivering all the stuff back and forth, like systems.
But in like a much more contained puzzle of get thing here, send thing the other way.
It's always very like, here is a contained area, and the puzzle is usually more about like, it costs you money to lay down tracks or whatever, and you're like trying to be efficient about how you connect these things up in a reasonable way.
Yeah. I mean that's basically it. The graphics are okay. It's got some lovely little low poly style art. Weirdly, I noticed it was randomly flickering occasionally. Don't know why. I just sort of get an occasional flash. Hopefully not enough that it was bothering anyone in chat because I streamed it. But I think I picked it up because it looked like it was going to scratch that station-to-station itch that I've been hoping will be achieved once it finally arrives. Yeah, it was a bit slower than I would have liked, and don't get me wrong, I love a nice, gentle train ride, but and I did appreciate that in one of the levels there was like a random little reference to Back to the Future 3 that was quite silly. Yeah, I didn't quite necessarily scratch the itch. I look forward to going maybe through a little bit further for it, and can't say better than free, I guess. Is always the thing. Yeah, it looks like as you progress through the difficulty levels, like the trains you get are going to be more futuristic. So I guess you'll sort of get to like more modern trains, and like at the moment it's steam trains, and I'm very happy with the steam trains, and I hope that remains the cosmetic option going forward because I enjoy me and steam train.
Steam trains are very good.
Choo choo. What about you? What have you played?
What have I played this week? So I can talk about the weird press event I went to that
Yes,
I can talk about.
This really sucked you into something, didn't it?
I thought it was going to be a very standard day, and what ended up happening was me coming home from this event and walking in the door and going, "Hey Jane, I love you, I need to go back to work upstairs, stuff happened." So yeah, I'll talk first about what the intended thing I'd gone to see was, which was I went for a preview event in London where I got to play an hour and a half of the co-op mode for Vampire Survivors.
For some reason, I thought that was already out. I think maybe I've just seen like the Steam news updates.
Yeah. It got announced. I think when the Switch version got announced as existing, they showed off the co-op mode, but the Switch version's not out yet. Yeah. So I got invited to go see Vampire Survivors co-op mode, and without going into too many specifics, because I'm sure we'll talk about this in the future, in sort of...
what, you think we might be interested in playing together?
Yeah, I imagine so.
Two people who have played a fuck ton of Vampire Survivors might have the opportunity to not just play it together, but play it together.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, here's the gist. In Vampire Survivors co-op mode, how do I put this? So the best way to talk about this is, in regular single-player Vampire Survivors, you have 6 weapons and 6 accessories, generally, that make up your build. And in multiplayer, generally you have more weapons and accessories than that as a collective group, but as individual players within that group, you are weaker than a single-player player.
Oh.
So it's like 6 weapons in single-player, 2-player is 4 weapons each for a total of 8. 3-player is 3 weapons each for a total of 9. 4 players is 2 each for a total of 8. So no matter what multiplayer player count, you have more weapons available to you than single-player would, which in theory makes you, potentially stronger than you would otherwise be. The problem being that power only exists if you stick together. The second you are separated, you are considerably weaker than you would be for wherever the leveling curve of the level is. And that does a really good job, I found, from what I played, of keeping the difficulty balance feeling about right. Like, if anything, it's a little more difficult in co-op, because you are sort of tied to each other a bit, but, generally speaking, it feels about right balance-wise, and that's really nice to see. There's a lot of really nice, well-thought-through choices in terms of, how they make the multiplayer mechanics work. Each time you get a level up, it alternates through the player order who gets that level up. So as an individual player, you're getting, let's say in 4-player, only once every 4 levels do you get a level up, which makes it harder to level up and evolve your weapons by getting them to max level. But that's sort of mitigated by there being the Friendship Charm, Friendship Amulet, I think it was called, which gives everyone playing a level up on one of their weapons specifically.
Oh wow! So basically, that in 4-player would be the equivalent of getting 4 levels up at once.
4 levels up for 1 level, and it's all leveling up the weapons rather than the accessories, so that you're getting levels that will contribute towards evolutions.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of mechanics that are designed just to make sure everyone's getting a fair share of what's going on. If you're playing a really slow character like Peppino, the tree with all the garlic in it, you're not going to be fast enough to touch most of the treasure chests that happen.
Right.
But if when someone touches a treasure chest, it just does a roulette, and someone at random from the party gets the reward, so it's not going to disincentivize whoever's slowest.
So does it do the split screen thing, when you get far enough apart?
No. Nope, doesn't do the split screen. The screen sticks with wherever player 1 is, so player 1 sort of dictates where the game goes.
So if someone's being the tree, that means you're basically all gonna be...
Yep, you're all gonna have to be okay with tree pace.
Tree? You get those wings ASAP.
Unless you get to the point where that I have with Peppino in my mobile playthrough, where I've put 1,000 eggs on Peppino so that Peppino can walk at a regular character speed. But yeah, the only other real sort of mechanic of note to talk about from the preview was the ability to, if one of your players goes down and you don't have any revives, that's not a game over. You go into a coffin, and a meter fills up over time automatically, and eventually you pop back out the coffin and get back into playing. The further into the run you are, the quicker that meter fills up.
Okay.
But unless all 4 of you are in coffins at once, there's no limit to how many times that can happen. You can just go into the coffin and pop back up. But the problem being, as soon as you're even one person down, your collective group is weaker than a single player character and is going to have to...
you don't have the firepower.
Yeah, you are going to have half, a third, or a quarter of your firepower, depending on player count, suddenly removed.
Right.
And you're going to have to stick close enough to their coffin to be able to, hopefully get them back in the party when they pop out. Particularly late in a run, you might, I popped out the coffin and I'm in the middle of a swarm of monsters.
Yeah.
So that has its own set of challenges, but yeah, it takes Vampire Survivors and makes it work seemingly pretty well in co-op.
And have they done anything like color coding the characters when you're playing them to help you distinguish who you are?
A little bit. Whenever the game pauses for a menu or something, it'll pause briefly as the menu closes and outline around your character with a little color and a little arrow to be like, hey, that's you. Anyway, off you go.
But just then.
Yeah, just then, really.
I can see that getting difficult to track, especially when you've got a lot of people on screen.
Yeah. But, I'm sure we'll talk about this more soon, but that was in theory what I went to this preview event to see.
You mean there was more?
Yeah, so let's tell the weird little fucking story. So, I get to this press event, and someone comes over, one of the members of staff there comes over to me and goes, "Hi, Laura, how you doing? So, come and find me 20 minutes before the end of this event. I got something to show you." I'm not going to tell you in advance what it is, just come find me 20 minutes before the end.
A mystery.
Yeah.
Is it an actual vampire?
No, cannot yet confirm an actual vampire, but, yeah, this guy, finds me 20 minutes before the end and walks me over to a computer somewhere on the other side of the room, and there is just one computer running Vampire Survivors Director's Cut, spelt with an E at the end because the director is a character from Vampire Survivors.
The director.
Yeah, so he just pops me in front of this and goes, I can't tell you any context other than this contains content, some of which may or may not at some point be playable by the public. I cannot answer any further questions. Sure, you can video it if you want. No one else has seen it. I cannot tell you...
Was that the person that was holding your phone at one point for the vertical?
Yes, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I played 20 minutes of a version of Vampire Survivors that has a whole bunch of characters and weapons and maps and mechanics that just are not present in Vampire Survivors currently.
Yes, didn't recognise any of the maps I saw in your video, but I did see the, obviously, the egg you played, I think.
Yes, is an evolution of a character from the DLC.
I don't know about that. I swear it's one of the weird angel things you see in the hallway when you've beaten all the main levels. There's that hallway thing you might be right
that it's in there that it comes up.
I don't even know if it's the main version of that, but I feel like a negative version of it appears at one point in a flash.
Some of the stuff is clearly repurposed things that are not playable characters in the base game that are now playable characters. Some of them are just off the wall, here's Santa Claus. I guess that's who the Santa water that I always assumed was holy water is named after.
Wow.
Yeah. Go watch, there is a video on youtube.com/LauraCareBuzz where you can watch a run of this. The main takeaways I had were, there is a werewolf that throws fish at people, that's his weapon.
As usual, yeah.
And,
as one would expect.
You know how there's the gift box that you can open and it lets you select any basic
candy
weapon?
Box,
yeah, the candy box. You get any basic weapon, and then if you get it again, any evolved weapon.
Mm-hmm.
There is an equivalent of that for passive accessories.
Okay.
Other than that, it was me just going, oh my god, there's a lot of stuff happening here.
Yes, wasn't there something with bunnies at one point?
Yeah, so I had to learn that what was going on here was, when people in a lot of Western countries talk about seeing something in the moon, it's the man in the moon.
Right, okay.
In Japan, they see the bunny in the moon.
Fair.
And the craters in the moon are from supposedly where the bunny has been using a mochi hammer to pound mochi on the moon, and that's what the moon's craters are. And
that's the ball things.
Yeah. So that's why there were space bunnies in little space helmets with little wooden hammers on the moon level, is because they were pounding mochi on the moon.
Lucky mochi.
Yeah, there was a lot happening.
Yes. Yes.
And then I was told I can answer none of your questions. Yes, you can talk about this. If anyone asks about it, we will refuse to comment. Have fun making people believe that this is real.
Yes, and that which led to the kind of reactions I've not seen you get from the internet in a good few years.
Oh, you invented this for clout. You faked
Did you 3D
this somehow
print
for clout. Yeah, I had people legitimately claiming that I'd like coded a fake version of Vampire Survivors and put it on a monitor at the event to pretend it existed, and the developers were no commenting. Rather than just denying it was real.
Yes, yeah, because, all your Playdate programming has it's made you into a master coder, and now you've got your own version of Vampire Survivors running.
Yeah, so, yeah, I had a fun couple of days trying to... It didn't help that they spelt directors in a way that looks like a misspelling if you don't know, like...
If you don't know the lore.
Post-game Vampire Survivors lore.
If you haven't taken the time to read the excellent mystery, much of which written by the lovely James Stephanie Sterling.
Yes, so that sure happened, and as far as I am aware, I am still the only person outside of the dev team to have played a special version of Vampire Survivors.
Didn't you say it was like sitting there right there in the room and
yes, the way it was explained to me was, well, it was technically here. Anyone at this press event could have wandered over and seen it and played it, and we wouldn't have stopped them. I'm like, okay? I don't understand. I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand the marketing decision that is show Laura a version of the game and don't tell anyone else it exists and hope that she can convince people it's real.
You're a very special being.
Apparently I'm a very special being, so, yeah, that happened. Anyway, what have you played this week?
I played that, let's see if I can get the name of this right. Yeah, you want those games, now let's see you clear them?
Yeah, you want those games, right? Is it? Yeah, so here they are, now let's see you clear them.
Yes.
Yes, I knew there was a bit of it missing, there we go.
Yeah.
That thing.
That thing that is all of the mobile game adverts, minus all of the microtransactions.
Yeah.
But you can earn in-game cash to play the gotcha machine.
Yeah, to get weird little name labels you can stick on yourself.
You can have new name labels, which will be either coloured backgrounds or just a weird title.
Yeah.
I am currently the Weird T-Shirt Janiac.
That's a great name.
Yeah. I am known for my weird T-shirts, so it's fairly fair, I think. I started playing this after streaming last week, and I managed to get through the entire one where you're moving fluid between test tubes.
Yep.
Now, I like that puzzle. You might remember I talked about a free mobile version of it probably about 6 months to a year ago.
Yeah.
Because it's a good puzzle. I managed to get through all of the ones in the game. Apart from like 6, I think I got 3 stars on.
Yeah.
Managed to get through that in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the puzzling. The main problem I have with this and with all of the other puzzles within this collection is the bonus reward thing takes too long. It's like, you got 3 stars. We're going to play a little fanfare. We're going to go star, star, star. Or even if you don't get all 3 stars, we're still going to make it take as long as it would for 3 stars before you can move on. Which makes the whole thing take a really long time, especially when, like I did, I finished one whole section, all of the test tube puzzles, and then move on to something else, and I moved on to the tower ones.
Oh, yes, sorry, I see what you mean, yeah. Occasionally when you've gone and done a bunch of one puzzle and you go to a new puzzle, and it's like, oh, one by one we're going to unlock all the levels for you.
Oh no.
Oh no?
No.
Oh no, not that.
You finished this in 20 seconds. The target score for 3 stars was this, so here is a star, here is a star, here is a star. And then you go back to the main menu and it's like, you have enough IQ points now to unlock the next stage level. That's a separate bit. I was talking about the bit before that, between I finished the puzzle and going back to the menu screen, the end slate for the thing. Now, that's long enough. And sometimes it's a nice little rest when you've been doing particularly sort of like end of set puzzles. But then going to something like the tower puzzle of this one, you're a 5 and there's a sword that will give you 2 times power, and that thing's a 10. Ooh, which one are you going to go for first? Well, I think I know which one I'm going to go for, because I know a bit about maths. Like,
you know some basics.
So only the basics and not much more than that. And to be fair, there's multiplication and division in this, which I do struggle with. So, I know my limits. Yeah, the teachers told me there wouldn't be calculators out there in the real world, not accounting for the fact that I would have a phone in my pocket, which has basically a small supercomputer by 80s standards. And also, suddenly what they didn't tell me is I would be fighting weird goblin creatures in a tower, and then I wouldn't immediately have access to a calculator, or I would, but I would lose points for not getting the stars quick enough if I took time to sit and calculate it all out. The main problem is that starts really slowly. It's like, first of all, here is just one thing in the room next to you. Cool, you've done that. You did it in 2 seconds. Cool. You get 3 stars. We're going to play the intro. Now back to the menu.
Yeah.
And then, because I think that one more than anything, takes 16 levels-ish to start getting to anything faintly approaching an actual puzzle.
Yeah.
Rather than just here is a gentle drip feed of the mechanics.
Yeah, there is a couple of them, and that is definitely, the things I will say about this, I'm glad I picked it up and I've enjoyed the collection, but I think the test tube mixing the colours one and the car park one, they feel like they're over before they begin.
I think the test tube one went about as far as it could reasonably go.
Yeah.
And it was a whole 50 or so puzzles, I think.
Yeah,
start to finish.
The car park one is only what
the car park, I think
it's real sure it's 20 maybe.
I think it's about 25 puzzles. The stupid thing about that is, apart from the last 3, they are all piss easy, and it's weird because it goes from just a scattered few, scattered few cars in the car park to the last 3 are all the car park is completely rammed. Fucking work it out. And
yeah,
and I really enjoyed those last 3 puzzles, even though a couple of the mechanics in them feel absolutely bullshit. And the story feels very, very peculiar indeed. It's now we've introduced the baddies. They're going to walk up and down. Don't hit them with your car. They've got knives and they'll be very angry. It's I think most people would be very angry if you hit them with a car, baddie or not. Yeah. And the knife just, well, sure, okay. But their paths are a little bit difficult to judge, and especially on some of those last ones, it's best to deliberately jam the exit route with another, a bus or something. Drive all the cars you want to drive out along that path as close as possible. Move the bus out of the way and slowly feed them out in such a way that you're you're not having to judge it from a great distance, because the pathing on these baddies walking up and down is really difficult to judge from any kind of distance. And even when you're quite close, sometimes it can look like it's just right, but it really isn't, for perspective reasons that are quite difficult. There was one I was fairly convinced just wasn't possible, and the main problem was you had to get a double width car out of the space that he was walking back and forth over and it was quite late into the puzzle, so it felt really bullshit to be okay, well, I've got to get all the things I know how to get out quite easily, or that are a bit of a faff but can be done no problem, just to work out if this is the time I'm going to time this one thing coming out of the car park correctly.
Yeah.
And that felt a bit shit. And then, 2 puzzles after that, where it had got sort of interesting and really crunchy, it ended.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because I really love those sort of sliding block puzzles or car park puzzles or whatever mechanic they choose to flavour it with. It's fun spatial awareness stuff that I really enjoy, but it was over too short, and considering the difficulty of some of the early puzzles, is the fact that you're solving them and then the outro slate is taking far too long before you can get back in and do the next one.
That's fair.
And then there's the pin pulling ones, which seems to have been a lot more effort put into.
It's the one that I think does the best job of sure, it starts a little easy, but it does a very good, very gradual Build of mechanics, build of difficulty.
Yeah, and it seems to add, like, different things from like, where you start, like, a whole extra enemy types.
It's definitely
the way the enemies interact, the different objects.
It's definitely the most fleshed out of the ones in there, and it's the one that, like, most...
3 pages of them.
It's the one that most feels like it makes this collection feel worthwhile.
Yes.
Because, like, I like that the rest of it is there, but without this would have been a much harder recommend.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for, like, £8, $8.99, it's not bad for some puzzles. I have not done the tappy block one.
Oh, I really enjoy the Tappy Cash one. Here's what I'll say about the Tappy Cash one. It is in a few places, like, really, really tight on, like, the victory condition for 3 stars.
Right.
But when you get a really good score, and then you get a mansion with 7 girlfriends, and 2 of them are allowed to wear high heels, it's like, I'm good at video games now. It's,
Why would you punish them by making them wear high heels? That's awful.
It's a thing. It took me a while to realise that how much over 3 stars you got depended on, like, how many girlfriends there were going to be at the end. I thought there was a very weird story going on about a man who was, like, you know, aspiring to get more and more girlfriends, and then suddenly the number dropped down and he had fewer girlfriends. I was like, oh no, what happened to your other five girlfriends? Oh no.
Wow. Okay.
It's an emotional tale.
Sure. Sure. That is a thing I played. What else have you played?
I can quickly talk about a thing I played. So I've talked about What the Golf before, which is silly little mini golf minigame collection that starts as mini golf, but then becomes a whole bunch of other things that, like, do silly, unexpected things with the mechanics.
Yes, you played this on television.
I did. I played this on Stream Shuffle on Jinx TV. But yes, I did not know that this game periodically gets, like, standalone half-hour chunks of free additional content that are added in. And I only know this because I saw one of them in particular, which I played today, was, there was a half-hour little set of levels themed around Among Us.
Oh.
That was added. And they did some fun, silly things with that game's mechanics.
Which ball was the imposter?
I mean, depends what level we're talking about. They did a lot of silly things with it. They managed to make a silly level out of connecting the colour matching wires up and things like that.
Okay.
Or you got to vote off the imposter, but it's mini golf.
Okay.
There were some bonkers little ideas. It was fun. But yeah, I discovered there's about 2 hours of additional What the Golf I haven't played beyond the half-hour extra I played today. And that's great. I just have a bunch of extra What the Golf to play. So if you're like me and did not know this and you own What the Golf, go find the episodes menu. There's like 5 little half-hour just extra content batches.
Sweet.
Yeah. What about you? What you played this week?
Well, I'm just going to dash some things off. We went and played small board games at the weekend.
Yeah, we did.
With friends. We played Expeditions 4-player.
Yep.
This is the first time we played Expeditions 4-player. I played solo 3 times. You played with me once.
Yep. We talked about this before. It's the sort of hex grid-based sequel to Scythe. Expeditions sure is a lengthier game in 4 players, even accounting for the fact we were teaching new people.
Yes.
Just because of the fact that there are more people on those limited spaces that are needed, and it forces you to make suboptimal moves and hang around places waiting to get to that thing you need to get to.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing very differently, I think, generally, because I was very aware of the fact that, thankfully, due to setup, we were in a position where there were 3 spaces you could go and get workers from right from the beginning, as opposed to the usual 2.
Yes.
Which would have made it difficult for more than one of us. And I went last deliberately. I was like, I'm teaching this game. I want the person, the people who are just learning to be able to get workers on their first turn.
Yeah.
Even if they're not necessarily the workers they want, they will have.
I think
some
that
of
was
those
sensible.
in.
Yeah.
And I instead focused on just getting a whole bunch of cards so that I would be taking more turns before refreshing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that aspect of it, but I think despite the fact that many of the individual turns got to be quite quick, especially if you knew in advance, the only thing I can do on my next turn is refresh.
Yeah.
Nothing else is going to work because I don't have any cards, and it's going to mean that I'm playing suboptimally. So, generally speaking, it meant that a lot of things were moving. Individual turns were going quite quickly, but very often things would grind to a halt because someone who wasn't refreshing, or didn't have, like, an immediate answer of something they needed to do. Like, they'd set themselves up already, and they were already in the right place. It was just, okay, I do the thing on my turn, I've already planned this. I planned this a little while ago. For the people who were like, oh yes, I want to get a card on my turn, I want to get a particular face-up card from among the tableau, those people were then suddenly going, fuck, because either someone else had picked up the card, or someone had swept all the cards so that they weren't there anymore. All of a sudden it's like, well, I have to completely rethink my turn. And that often led to quite a bit more slowdown. Yeah.
Or sometimes it was even just things like, I need to go to this particular space because that's the only place I can redeem this quest.
Yeah.
I'm in range. I'm just going to move there. I'll just move there on my turn. I'll just move there on my turn. Fuck, you moved there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I had the benefit of... I literally spent, like, a good, like, 2/3 of the game just getting as many cards as possible.
Yeah.
So, regardless of I had so many quests that I could go to, like, 6 or 7 places on the board, and because I was playing Marsh Strider, I had more movement than everyone else. So if one thing to like solve to get a quest completed didn't work out for me, I had so many other places I could go and just go, I'm going to do something else.
That definitely did benefit you in 4-player particularly.
Yeah, I think so. And also, like, having that opportunity of now having played a good few games in different scenarios, I got to sort of think about things slightly differently than previously, but definitely really enjoyed it in 4-player, but for very different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think our 2 learners did very well, considering we had already played a lot of board games. So that was Expeditions. We played another month of Pandemic Legacy Season 2.
Yeah, we won it. We won it on the first attempt.
Yeah, we're getting better. We've lost the majority of our games, but things seem to be...
I mean, I'm pretty sure we've now won more than 50%. I feel like we're in the positives.
So, I mean, we just did June, didn't we?
Yes.
Right, so we're over halfway through the year, and there's definitely 1 month that we lost both of.
Yeah, but there's at least 2 months that we won on the first try that evens that out.
I think that's only the second month that we've won on the first try.
Yeah, so that evens out for the month that we lost twice.
Yeah.
So I think we are at about 50-50.
Maybe. Yeah, it's it has felt way harder in 4-player, but still very much enjoying playing through it again, because I'd forgotten most of the plot, and the plot is fascinating.
We're finding our groove, and we're getting to that point that you get like halfway into a Pandemic Legacy where you're like, I'm getting a good feel for when it's a good time for me to make personal sacrifices for the good of the long-term campaign.
Yes.
And that is a sensible decision to make.
It won't get back to me, so the bad thing won't affect me. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Or even just like, even if it does affect me, how long have we got of this campaign? How many characters could we swap into instead?
Yeah, that's quite...
How many scratch-offs have I done on my little board to see whether I'm going to get damaged?
That is a good point. We've got 4 players. We are through June. We are still on our starting characters, and we've unlocked 3 extra characters. So,
yeah.
You know, if the worst came to the worst, we wouldn't have to be too bad. And weirdly, we have just unlocked the character that you won the game with when we played together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still enjoying Pandemic Legacy Season 2.
Yeah.
We played some Roots. This is the first time we've played in 4-player.
Yeah, so we've talked about this before. There's that board game that's a sort of mini cutesy animal war game, kind of.
Asymmetric war game.
Everyone's playing different rules, but sort of playing the same game.
Yeah, so we gave one person the cats and another person the birds, because we knew that one person loves cats and would have an easier time learning them as like a good starter faction.
Yeah.
And then the other person we knew loves a bit of thinky strategy and plotting and planning, and having to run the decree of like I add a little card every turn. And I have to make this thing work every single time, so I have to be planning a little bit ahead. And I think we guessed correctly that was right up their alley, and they seem to enjoy that very much. You played as the Lizard Cult again.
I did.
And came so close to victory.
I had a fun time, I'm just doing nothing, I'm just doing nothing, tee hee hee.
Yep.
Look, it's very easy when other people are screwing each other over to go, hey, everyone at the table, I haven't attacked you once.
Yep.
Of all the people you should be focusing on, I haven't attacked you at all. Be nice to me.
Also, it was the first time that we played this with the whole thing of, like, you can make any kind of deals you want at the table.
Yeah.
And, you know, that is like a thing that they talk about in the manual. Like, if you want to form alliances, that's entirely up to you. If you want to do a bit of king-making, go for it. There's nothing holding you to it, but, you know, if that's what you want to do. And there was a good amount of, like, I formed an alliance with someone because I was really struggling, to be honest. I was getting so far behind, and I needed just one person who wasn't gonna, like, screw me over. So I did a couple of, like, I'll clear out things for you, I'll make things a little bit easier for you here and here, and also, there is this piece of mine in this clearing. If you build something there, do be aware it's just going to get destroyed automatically. That's not a thing I'm doing. But if you destroy it, you will get a point. And they did keep building in that place, mainly because they were playing the birds and needed places to build every turn. And it was a good excuse to just go, yep, I tick up, I tick down, and it's not a problem. I am never likely to fall apart as a result of that. That really is a very different game in 4-player, and I really enjoyed it, and they seem very into it, so who knows? Maybe there will be more 4-player route in the future.
Yeah.
I think that was about it for our board gaminess.
I think so.
Well, I suppose the only other thing that I could talk about as a quote-unquote played, I built an insert for Spirit Island. Yeah. There was instructions somebody made on Board Game Geek for a foam core insert for Spirit Island with all the expansions, and I built most of it. There's still a couple of bits I need to do. But yeah, that is going to make setup less of a slog and more of a, I remove the trays from the box and I put them on the table and we're done and we can play a game. Which, considering it's, like, I worked out the other day, there's 20 individual bags in there. Now, not every time you're going to be playing with, like, 6 players. So, you know, technically you probably only need, like, 14 to 16 of those bags. But that's still a lot of bags of components to, like, set up and tear down. So I'm glad things are going to be a bit more manageable in that respect going forward. And considering that it's, like, all of the expansions and stuff in there now, apart from the fancy tokens, it fits in there with, like, a centimetre of lid lift, which I think is pretty good.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, pretty good. And my first time building from scratch with foam core. I might try it with some of the other games in future, rather than I'm going to buy a pre-designed one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot easier than I thought it would be, and quite nice to work with, and just a nice thing to sort of sit and focus on, kind of. Yes. Have you done anything else play-wise?
No, that's about it for stuff I've played this week.
Well then,
time for this.
Knock knock, Professor Blackheart, here for the inspection.
Oh, sorry, was that today?
Yes, Professor Blackheart, I've been emailing you all week about this.
Okay, fine, come in.
Oh, well, I see you've settled in, Dr. Blackheart?
Well, yes, I've done my best. I had to downsize from the old hollowed out mountaintop, but I've done my best to, shuffle everything around so it all fits in.
Yes, well, central London's not quite, whichever island it was you said you were previously, residing at.
Oh, it was Skull Island. Evil, glowy-eyed Skull Island.
Yes. I mean, well, your previous landlord did write you a glowing review. Literally, actually, I had to send it to be destroyed because it was so radioactive. And now, this giant laser you have hanging from the ceiling here, that I'm fairly certain that would count as an unauthorized modification of the unit.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sure it's nothing. A little bit of plaster over the screw holes won't fix on my departure.
Well, just make sure that you are doing that beforehand. And I have noticed that a few of the other residents have complained about dinner-suited spies trying to break into the building at all hours of the day and night?
Look, I can't be held responsible for other people's attempts to break into my property. If anything, the building should have greater security. I thought I was moving into a safe neighborhood, but there's people trying to break into my property day and night. That to me, that is you failing to secure the property.
Well, I mean, it's hardly my fault. You do seem to have all these people coming and going. Now, you're not subletting, are you? I see a lot of them in the boiler suits here.
Oh, no, not subletting. Subletting would imply that they were living here as opposed to just working here tirelessly day and night.
So you're running a business from the property. Now, that is expressly forbidden.
Oh, no, not a business. Let's call it a charitable enterprise.
Right, and that requires quite so many henchpersons, does it?
Yes, it does. It really does.
Oh, now is that what I think it is?
I don't know what you think it is.
I mean, it looks an awful lot like a cold fusion reactor.
And what if it was?
Well, it is stated in the terms of the letting agreement that you will not change the utilities supplier. Now, we were very clear about that. It was very important.
I must stop you. I have not changed energy supplier or utility supplier. I am just providing my own supplemental energy. I'm still on the contract with the National Gas Company. It's like if I put a solar panel, I hung it out my window.
Well, that's also not allowed, because you're not even allowed to hang towels near the window.
Okay, I put it on the sofa and the sunlight comes through at the right angle. I put a solar panel here. It's basically just that.
Oh, no, now that is too far. That is too far.
What? Is it the spinning death blades?
No, that have you irradiated your hands sign there.
What about it?
It's held on with blue tack, isn't it?
It might be.
Now, we did tell you about this very specifically. No blue tack, nothing, no blue tack on the walls. I'm sorry, we're going to have to evict you. No. I
understand, I won't argue it. All I will do is ask you to, Just so that I can make sure I really take this in. If you just take one step to the left and continue...
Oh, just here?
Yes, and I'll just take a step here. Ignore the sort of building up electrical sound behind you.
Right.
Oh, I'm so sorry I put the blue tack on the wall. It'll never happen again.
You're absolutely right. So small. This isn't good enough. You'll definitely be evicted for shrinking. Your landlord is absolutely not suitable at all. You've been I'm going to... You're going to be hearing me from my solicitors.
Hench people, I'm going to need a mop.
Right, recruits, to attention.
Sir, yes, sir.
Welcome to Game Critic Boot Camp. We are training for the biggest night of your lives, the upcoming gaming convention.
Sir, yes, sir.
Right, we have a series of grueling challenges for you to take part in today. First of all, run 2 miles while typing one-handed on your phone about the last game you played.
The graphics were very detailed.
Make more detailed notes. Run faster. You're running late for your next appointment.
The multiplayer was excellent, and I enjoyed the story.
Right. Okay, you're over the finish line. No time to rest, maggots. Lug this bag of gear around for 2 hours.
Oh God, and I keep being handed merch. Why do people keep handing me more merch?
Put more in there. You do not have enough equipment to capture video live from the events. Keep putting more in there. Make sure to carry your tripod with you.
Oh God, I've lost the shoe. Where's the shoe gone on my tripod?
Don't worry about that. Just keep moving. Okay. Right. Stop. Read this map. While being bustled about in a crowd, you are being pushed from all sides. Try and work out where your next appointment is.
Okay, I need to get to N7. That's, sorry, excuse me. I need to, I'm terribly sorry. Okay, so I'm here.
Too much time taken. Sprint through this ocean of people going the exact opposite direction to you. Go.
Excuse me, pardon me, sorry. I'm terribly sorry. Excuse me. Ow. Fucking hell! Ow! Ah! Help! Oh no! I'm going
On
down.
your feet! On your feet! Right. We got you. You're okay. We've got one last challenge for you now. Look like you gently walked here and played this game without making it obvious how traumatized you are.
Hi! I'm really excited to play the new build.
Wonderful.
Crying? No!
Wonderful. You have passed. You are almost ready for the real thing. Congratulations, cadet.
I've got 6 more of these to do in the next hour. So, what have you put in your eyes?
Not a lot that we're gonna talk about because hey, support the strike.
Yeah.
I have been starting a little bit more in earnest to watch One Piece.
Oh.
I talked about this a little while back. One Piece anime about a little lad who ate a fruit and now he's got rubber stretchy powers and he wants to be king of the pirates. There's like 1,000 episodes of it, and I don't know whether that is a commitment that I will overcome. But I was like, look, I want to give it a proper chance. I downloaded a bunch of it for like offline available viewing.
Right.
And like I know I've got travel coming up soon, and that's a thing where I can like watch some of it while I'm traveling and I don't have internet access and things. So I was like, yeah, let's just have this as a thing I can start watching through. And I'm maybe 15 episodes in. And I think I get why people like it.
Right.
And like, out of curiosity, when did One Piece start airing? I'm curious now. Okay, so this started airing in 1999.
Wow.
It's held up way better than most, like, shonen anime of the late 90s, early 2000s in terms of, like, so far. It doesn't feel weirdly... It doesn't feel as fan-servicey as I expect anime of this era to feel.
Right.
And it's felt better paced and, like, less dragged out for, like it's buying for time.
Right.
But the thing that I think is standing out to me, and I think I get the thing that makes me think maybe this is why people like it. It has real Dungeons and Dragons adventure vibes,
Right.
in that you've essentially got an adventuring party that consists of not in body type but in spirit a himbo as your
Right.
main character. He's big of heart, dumb of ass.
Excellent.
He just wants to make friends. And sure, he's trying to be king of the fearsome pirates and go on his big dangerous adventure, but like, really, he just wants to make friends and make people smile and be a happy little friend.
Okay.
And he's gonna stumble face first into success through just kind of optimistic thinking and having enough being magically made of rubber to survive things that should have killed him, so he can go, oh, okay, I've been a dumbass, I need to take this situation a bit more seriously. He's got plot armor that's used not to make him, like, overpowered and, like, never face threats. It's so that, like, he walks into a fight with an enemy that is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill you in one hit, and he's just oblivious to the fact he's in danger. He can take one hit and go, okay, well that thing bounced off of me, I should probably pay attention to what's happening.
Okay. Not exactly plot armor, but,
He gets one hit to protect him from, like, comedic bonk on the head. Oh, I guess because after that people are like, oh, you're made of rubber, I can probably make a plan around that, and he's just like, oh, okay, I have one bit of protection from my dumbassery. And his adventure that has so far seen him collect a really eclectic group that includes, a navigator who is a woman who's just like, she's just very here for the treasure. She's the person that is like metagaming, I want to walk away with as much good loot as possible, and like, sure, I want to do the right thing, but also like, I am gonna let the fight be a bit harder than it needs to be because I'm trying to loot pockets in the middle of the fight still before initiative's finished. You've got
the energy.
Yep. You've got the very serious metagamed character who his whole thing is I fight with 3 swords at once. One in each hand and one in my mouth. I have 3 sword fighting style and I'm very good with 3 swords. If you take away one of my swords, I don't know what I'm doing. I do 3 sword style. I need 3 swords to do it.
3 sword guy.
Yeah.
Not 2.
Yeah.
Not 4.
He's very
3 sword guy.
He's very serious metagamer who can't do dialogue during combat. He can't stop and have a conversation with the big bad during combat because he's got a sword in his mouth.
Right.
And
he was like, look, I realise I've rolled very high and statted very high into this one thing, And the DM's like, okay, but you can only do it with 3 swords.
Right. And the most recent person they've collected to their team is the character who has, like, charisma and no other stats. And, like, he's probably gonna, like, get everyone into trouble, but he's probably also gonna be able to, like, spin up a yarn to talk you out of it.
Right.
And as long as you don't stick around too long for them to realize he was spouting bullshit, he can talk your way past stuff.
A bard.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a storytelling bard, essentially. And, like, I can see the, like, mismatched, everyone at the D&D table rolled up their characters separately without really talking to the DM about, like, what the tone of the adventure was meant to be.
Right, yeah.
And the glue holding them together is lovable dumbass who's like, you're all my friends! Yay! And, like, the group dynamic's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
The arc I'm just getting toward the end of, is I think where it clicked for me that there's maybe more to the show than I was anticipating. So, there was an arc that was very much presented as a Boy Who Cried Wolf story.
Right.
With the party member who, a little bit gift of the gab. And it seemed like it was going to be very straightforward, like, hey, he keeps telling lies, when something bad's coming, he's going to tell the village and no one's going to believe him, and he'll be like, oh, but I couldn't save you, but also good, that's on you for not believing me. It seemed like it was going to be one of those.
Right.
First of all, like, a big part of the, like, oh, he's the town liar thing comes from, there's this girl who can't leave her home because she's ill, and he's making up stories, and they're not true, but he's basically, like, coming up with stories about the world outside to keep her entertained because she can't go out and make her own adventures.
Yeah.
And, like, she knows they're bullshit and he knows they're bullshit, but, like, they make her happy and they just kind of have their understanding.
Nobody watches the soap opera for the reality.
Yeah, but, like, the Boy Who Cried Wolf moment comes from, like, I found out that someone is coming to try and kill you, and, like, there's this very serious tone shift of her going, I don't like this story you're telling me. I know you lie to me, but it's always been lies that make me smile, and this one makes me really scared. Why would you do this? And, like, the way they play it, like, not just, you've not been believed and there will be consequences, but it's like, no, I knew you were lying, but the one time you're telling the truth, I think this is a lie you're telling to hurt me. And that being, like, a really complicated emotional thing. And, like, this guy's... And I don't feel bad talking spoilers because this is so early in the show. But the thing that turns around is, like, this guy who is an absolute coward goes, you know what? I don't know how to fight. I'm a coward. I'm going to fight these pirates off before they come attack the village. If everything goes well and I successfully fight them off, the whole village can believe I'm a liar. The good ending for me is everyone believes that I was lying about the attack coming, because that means I saved them and the attack never came. Like, his happy ending is...
everyone thinking the worst.
It's not, I'll let them come attack you and you'll all see I was telling the truth.
Yes.
It's, I want to save the day so that there's never any proof I told the truth, and that I will forever be remembered as a liar, but I'm a liar who saved you all. And, like, that was, like, a fun little... Like, there was some complexity to it. And for, like... Not that far into the show, I was like, that's more of, like, a complex arc from a, like, known trope than I thought we'd get. And it kind of... It's got me kind of hooked. I'm into it.
Interesting.
So, I don't know how quickly I'm going to get through it or how far I'm going to stick with it, but thus far, I'm kind of digging One Piece. As someone that watched, like, the other 2 big shonen animes of its era, which were, like, Bleach and Naruto... I see why this is some people's favourite. I definitely think it has maybe the most interesting start. It's got the start that most makes me go, yeah, I could watch 1,000 episodes of this, maybe. So we'll see, and at some point I might start watching One Pace, which is the sort of edited down, truncated version that cuts out some of the fluff. I might be using a list that skips over some filler episodes. We'll see. But right now, I'm digging it.
I think a show that long, it's probably fine to find out a watch list for things like that.
Yeah, but right now I'm watching and I'm enjoying.
Yay!
What about you? What'd you watch this week?
Nothing I can talk about, really.
Yeah.
Isn't that a shame? Wouldn't it be nice if people got paid?
Wouldn't it be nice if people got paid for the work they were doing?
I mean, if you want to talk about things I looked at,
Yeah.
I enjoyed an article talking about the fact that the Marvel Studios VFX teams are looking to unionize. So
Yes, I did hear about this.
I think that's very good indeed.
Yeah. You know what else I read about that was interesting, that was pretty fascinating? You know how Squid Game was like the biggest fucking thing in the world for Netflix?
Yes.
Netflix, as a matter of recourse, doesn't just like pay really low residuals to Korean actors for being in their shows.
They just don't.
They just don't get residuals. Korean actors just do not get residuals from Netflix. Full stop.
Wow, that's shitty.
And their payment for being on shows like Squid Game, a flat fee of $300 per episode.
Wow.
And no residuals. Which again, doesn't surprise me.
I already thought Netflix was shit.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me because, like, there's been a lot of stuff about Squid Game stuff being underpaid. The creator of Squid Game owns none of the rights to Squid Game anymore. He had to give up every single right he had to that property for Netflix to make the show, and he got paid fucking very little and no residuals. They made infinity money off of him, and he just didn't. So, fuck these studios. I guess today specifically we're saying fuck Netflix, but fuck all of the major studios currently being struck. Fuck them indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did put one other thing in my
Oh,
eyes.
tell us about it.
This is just a silly little YouTube video I watched, but it was fun.
Excellent.
I thought it was worth watching.
Excellent.
Linkus7, who is a Zelda speedrunner I occasionally watch, did a video called Meme Speedruns in Tears of the Kingdom Are Strange? ?
Mm-hmm.
That was him not just trying to get speedrun records in several of like the silly little meme categories for Tears of the Kingdom, but doing one stream going, how quickly can I do all of the meme categories back to back in one go? Which involved things like school bus percent is one I remember, where he had to go make a school bus and then find some Koroks to put in the back of the school bus and then drive them to the school in Hateno Village. Specifically because it's a school bus, American school buses are yellow, so it needs to be yellow. So
Right.
there's one shrine that has a yellow square. It's that
Mm-hmm.
push stuff under the water and it bounces back up to the top one.
Yep.
So you had to work out how to smuggle a large number of that one yellow square out of that shrine.
Right.
By fusing it to weapons and then breaking it off. At that one NPC.
Yep.
And then at that one NPC, you had to build it into a school bus, because you couldn't, like, take one piece away somewhere else, or the other ones would despawn.
Right.
To make the yellow school bus, to go find some Koroks to put in the back to drive to the school. Shit like that. It's silly little nonsense categories.
Excellent.
It's fun for just some what are silly things people have come up with in Tears of the Kingdom.
Good. More of that. More
So yeah,
silliness.
that's about it for stuff I've watched this week that I'm going to talk about.
Oh. Well then.
Time for this.
Hey Laura.
Yes?
We've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you sometimes have too many thoughts?
Oh god, all the fucking time.
Too much thoughts? And
All the goddamn time.
you can't do anything practical about them.
No, I just got so many thoughts and I need them to just go away for 5 minutes.
Yeah, because you've got actual shit that you do need to action right now to get
Yeah.
on with.
But, like, I can't because my
Or
brain's
sleep.
going, yeah, but be doing these things right now. Go!
Those are the things that your brain wants to do, but you want to do the things that you actually want to do.
That I can actually do something about right now.
Well, just put it in the anxietybox.lol.net.
Oh, tell me more.
It's just a place where you can just shovel your anxious thoughts, be it because you're trying to get to sleep, or because you're trying to get on with something else, or because the solution is time-based, and you will not be able to solve it until that time is appointed.
like that thing where I can't do the thing until someone emails me back, but even though I can't do anything until I get emailed back, and that's not going to be for a couple of days, I'm still anxious about it.
Yeah,
as if I should be doing something now.
You can put it on a timer, and it's segmented as well, so you can have different timers, so you don't have to worry too much about this thing. When the box goes off, all of the things come out at once. Don't worry about it. Sometimes You just be like, okay, that thing, that's 5 o'clock tomorrow. I don't need to think about it till then. I don't need to worry about it then. I don't need to organize anything until then. Ping! You do the thing, and you will find you get through so much other stuff. And you can even connect it to your email or other messaging services. And at a time when you get the reply you need and you can start moving on the thing, that will be the trigger that just pings it back in. Hey! It's here. You can do something about it now. Now is the time.
Cool. The anxiety will actually fuel something productive.
Right. And the rest of the time you just get do you have any idea how much more chill you're going to be and how much less cortisol your brain will be exposed to?
Oh, I could do with less cortisol. It's literally shaving years off my life.
That's anxietybox.lol.net. If you got the anxiety, just put it in the box.
Oh, I sure do.
Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, I've been trying to come up with some new ways that we can get money out of people.
Right.
And I think I got a new one.
Right.
I've been working on a new one. So we offer players 100 free loot boxes. And I know.
Free.
I know this doesn't sound like a way to make money.
No, I'm going to be honest, it doesn't.
Well,
but,
here's the thing.
I'll go with you on it.
Yeah, so, first of all, just to be clear, this is like, special loot boxes that have reduced rates of the good stuff compared to normal ones.
Right,
We're not,
right.
We're like,
We're not doing that thing again where these ones are slightly higher rated so that we hook them in easier and then they're I can finish all the sets.
No, this is a different one. So we're giving away like 100 free loot boxes.
Right.
And, initially I was thinking just like, the first one's free, that kind of thing, and like get them into the mindset of opening the loot boxes.
Right,
but,
right.
I think I got a better plan.
Right.
We give them 100 free loot boxes.
Yeah.
We don't tell them how many of them they've used so far.
Right.
We don't
Sparkle,
have like
sparkle,
a counter
sparkle,
that says
glow, 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 jingle, jingle, jingle. You have more dopamine.
Exactly. And we don't tell you how many of them you've opened so far and how many you've got left.
Right.
And if you start opening these boxes, you agree that if you open any past your 100, you got to pay for those.
Right.
We're not going to tell you when we hit the first one that you're paying for.
Right.
It's just, you got 100 for free. It's your responsibility to not take more than 100.
Who knows if there is a game around this? You just, keep opening them whenever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Just open them whenever you want. Just make sure you never lose count. And look, I don't know how many people we'll get with this, but I feel like there's going to be a few people who, go, surely I'm not at 100 yet. Oops, I'm at 150. Who knew?
Yeah, I would assume that, people with, like, ADHD or, difficult with, compulsions and certain things like that, I think that'd probably be, they'd be really easy.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, 100 is enough that it's, like, become a routine. Like, opening them has become the pattern, and at that point, the exit ramp is long gone.
Yeah, and the jingle, it's so catchy.
Right.
And it changes every so often. Oh, do you want to hear the new version?
Right.
And you won't even know. And it'll be at, like, uneven numbers. So you can't go, I've done another 10. Yeah, you are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you put in your ears? What have you listened to?
Not a lot. It's been one of those weeks where I've been busy planning, like, travel stuff, and therefore my brain doesn't have a lot of music room in it.
That's fair.
I did listen to a song that I'd previously only listened to, like, through speakers. I hadn't put headphones on, and it's fascinating in headphones. Angus the Prize-Winning Hog.
Angus the Prize-Winning Hog.
Yeah, we've talked about this song before. It's by the Toxhards.
Yes.
That song goes so many places in 4 minutes.
It does.
It feels like a 7 or 8 minute long prog rock song.
Yeah.
That they squeezed into barely like 30 seconds more than a standard radio play length.
Yeah, it's got real like a rock opera stage show type thing, where they're doing we're going to introduce all the little bits that you're going to see throughout the entire show in that opening number.
It is a rich audio landscape that I hadn't quite appreciated until I put a good pair of headphones on and listened to quite how much was happening in that song.
Oh, yeah.
It is silly, it is intense, it is dramatic.
Yep.
It paints a word picture.
It really does.
Yeah.
And the video for it's very silly as well.
Yes. The other thing I listened to was a track called Blame the Bible by a band called Pansy Division. Which, you know, the fact that the album art had a pink triangle on it should give you a sense of what they're about. It's the sound of the track was like kind of 80s classic rock, but the chorus sounds like early Green Day.
Okay.
It worked kind of well. It is a track about like quote unquote Christian politicians cherry picking the Bible to fearmonger and to secure their own power and profit and safety, and the importance of seeing through their bullshit.
Indeed.
And I'm like, yep, I can get behind that. I can get behind that indeed.
Yeah.
So that's a couple of bits of music I listened to this week. What about you?
Well, we've got some new SCP Archives up. There seems to be a few new episodes. I hadn't realised they were back on. So I listened to SCP-5322, The Road Stretches On. So the basic concept of this SCP is that it is a small dead-end side road that you pull off onto, and it's about, the length of a couple of cars, and it ends in just some woodland at the end. And if you pull into it while paying attention, nothing happens. But if you are somehow distracted, you're not really looking at the road, you're not really paying attention, you will pull into this road and find yourself in another place that appears to be an infinite road flanked on either side by initially woodland and later, just fields. And it is a story about a person who volunteered, because no one had come back from this thing. A person who volunteered to go in and document their findings inside this. And this person is the only person to have ever come back out, is one thing we're told quite early on.
Interesting.
And it is a fascinating story told almost through like a found footage vibe of voice recordings from the person who is like, well, my gas never seems to run out, the vehicle keeps going, I never feel tired or hungry, so I guess I can just keep going if I want. And their odyssey, I guess, through this other place. And it is a fascinating and kind of beautiful and sad and strange and mysterious story that I really enjoyed. And I would put it right up there with the Here Be Dragons story, which I very much enjoyed a while ago, of being a bit different from the usual, like, oh, it's a bit bizarre, oh, it's cosmic horror. This is... it's a fascinating and quite beautiful story, and well done to whoever originally wrote that. But the SCP Archives version is pretty good. Very much enjoying that. And I've been caught up a little bit more with some Welcome to Night Vale. Still very much enjoying the Welcome to Night Vale. It's good stuff. Slowly trundling through there, as I believe you are as well.
Yeah, I'm almost ready for the first audiobook. I'm basically there.
Nearly there. And I also finished listening to Tartarus, which I think last week I had like an episode and a half to go. I am fascinated by the story. I hope we do get some more. It seems like they do new episodes around August, September the last couple of years, so hopefully that continues.
Hopefully you've timed it well to be getting more just as you finish.
Yeah, although I can't imagine what it's going to be like getting to another potential like huge event like at the end of season 2, and then going, I'm going to wait another year for 4 more episodes.
Good luck.
Yeah, that I thought like waiting for Magnus Archive stuff live when they were like, yeah, we do 30 episodes in a season once a year.
Yeah.
That was heavy going, but like this, I imagine getting into this is going to be really difficult. Or I'm going to just completely ADHD it. I'm going to listen to the latest episodes if they happen, forget about them entirely for the rest of eternity. And someone's going to go, did you know there's like 8 more seasons of Tartarus? About bloody time! I really enjoyed it. I obviously don't want to spoil it in case anyone ends up listening to it. It's some stuff happens, and by that time I had grown very attached to several of the characters. when things happened and stuff. And also, like, the second series has, like, the first series very much seemed to be about, new person introduced to the thing is suddenly thrust into far greater peril than they possibly could have expected. And, how wrong / good that could possibly go in a facility that is designed to hold unspeakable cosmic horrors. The second series floats a little bit more into what if this story or some stories you had been told were true, maybe, or had some roots in something that also some of these creatures do? And what if all of the creatures weren't completely, like, monstrous? Some of them were a little bit more sapient? But is the thing they're saying true or not true? And the way that can skew a person who has particular experiences in life. I'm being very vague, but I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, very much enjoyed season 2, and I hope we do get some more, because I'm fascinatory. What about you? You listen to anything else?
No, that's about it for me.
Well then.
Time for this.
Hello, and welcome to our review show.
Hello, we try things and tell you what we think of them.
Today, we will be reviewing all of the different colours of Play-Doh that we have.
This one is a blue Play-Doh.
And this is blue Play-Doh. This is a small one that came from a Happy Meal that Mummy got us.
It is blue, and if you eat it, which you're not supposed to do, it makes your tongue go blue and it tastes like salt.
It is a very salty one. I would say that it would pair well with crisps.
I would say it would pair well with Ribena.
Yes, good berry notes in some places. This is the green flavour. This one came in a multi-pack, but it's not official Play-Doh. It is a different kind of modelling clay. It smells very similar, but it dries out very easily. So it is a bit of a drier flavour of Play-Doh, but I do get the good earthy tones. That's from when I dropped it in the garden that time.
And also, there's a bit of it that's orange because it touched the orange and we could get it out.
Yeah, I made the thing that was green and orange, and now it was a big boot, and then it got squished, and then now it is like this.
Now it is like this.
It is, but it yes, the earthy tones and a bit of stick tone because there was some stick,
and of course salt.
And of course salt, because Play-Doh, yes.
We cannot not mention the salt.
Indeed, it's very salty. And well, would you like to try the rosé flavour one? Is sort of pink.
Okay. And this one. The major notes.
Yes.
Are salt.
Yes.
With a hint. Of salt.
Yes.
And like some salt undertones.
Okay.
And like a whisper of salt.
Oh, I thought this one was a bit more floral because of when we left it in the garden overnight with the lid off, and there was a bee, but then the bee went away, so we were allowed to play with it again. There was some rainwater, so it's a bit wet too.
Well, this one, I think, it must taste of flowers. Because it is pink and that is the colour of flowers, and therefore it tastes probably of flowers.
And I think that this one would pair well with a toast and maybe a chocolate bar.
I think this would pair well with ice cream.
Thank you for coming to our review show. This is some of the Play-Dohs of the world, and we will be doing more of these in future if we decide to play this game again. Thank you for listening to our show. Tonight before the Dragons, we have 28-year-old Jessie, who's come to introduce her plan for executive elite experiences for the mega rich. Hello, and what have you got to show us today?
Yes, welcome. Thank you, Dragons, for your time. I have a company, and I'll go into specifics in a moment, that's going to be offering elite experiences for the ultra exclusive elite experiences. I would like an investment of £3.5 million in exchange for let's say 75% of the company.
Well, that's a lot of the business you're giving away there.
I'm sure it won't matter after very long.
Right, indeed. Yes, I can see you've got your business plan here on this whiteboard.
Yes, so my company is
submarine, is it? Though,
yeah, well, there's my business aims to provide unique, once in a lifetime experiences to the ultra wealthy. We have a submarine that can go down to the depths of the Marianas Trench.
That sounds very interesting. I was thinking about taking a trip down there myself, I'll be honest, and so it would be nice if there was more things like that. I think I could get on board with this.
We have this space shuttle that will go on a tour of the sun.
Right, yeah. And you think you've got all your numbers ready together for this year?
Yes, we've got the numbers and we've done the maths, and we can afford to put together vehicles that will serve their intended purpose in order to be elite experiences that the ultra-wealthy will be able to say, I'm the only one who ever did this, it only ever happened once, and I was there.
Right, and I notice here on your board it says it's definitely nothing to do with luring billionaires to, what does it say here, extremely dangerous transport devices which absolutely will not lead to tragic, scare quotes, accidents, scare quotes, as a way to thin out the numbers.
Yes, you can see on my business plan that it says it's definitely not just that.
Yeah, I think that's very wise that you've made sure up front to make sure that's stated. So I suppose that will. And you mentioned here about disclaimers about personal indemnity. That's good forward thinking.
Yeah, it's all in there.
Yes.
And there's just this one little clause about the equity in the business coming back to me should anything happen to you, but nothing will ever happen to you. So, what do you say?
I'm in, and yes, I think we all want to get on board with this. So we're all going to go in, and we'll take 25% of your business each. But I do want first go on that tour of the sun.
Oh, don't worry, dragons. We've got 3 different vehicles. You can all be the first to go on one of them.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Brochure Justice Warriors.
Brochure Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
All right, Larry. How you doing?
Oh, been a bit wonky this week, but it's, bearing up. You doing alright?
Oh, I'm alright.
Right.
Been seeing some grumbling. I've had to shut down this week. I've had to be like, nope, none of this.
Yeah, well, it was only a matter of time before people became mildly inconvenienced.
Oh, I know. Well, I've seen. Well, I think there's 2 camps to what I've seen. So this is more about that strike that keeps going on.
Yeah.
I've seen people.
Good for them. I'm glad they managed to hold fast.
Could not agree more. But I've seen 2 things. I think the first one is I've seen headlines from people who are, a little cozy with the movie industry, pitching, it was inevitable we were going to see delays to anticipated works of media that were in production, because that's how a strike works.
Yeah.
There are media outlets that are, covering the strike going, such and such piece of media you're excited for is being delayed because of the strike. And as a result, you're seeing people who are waiting for that media going, I wish I had that media, but I can't because of the strike. And this is typical anti-union bullshit.
Oh, yeah, you're obviously trying to turn public sentiment against the strikers, when, the whole thing could be solved very easily by the studios just, even agreeing to come back to the table might hurry things along, but as it is, they're just like, no, we're very happy making all of the money and you not getting any of it, so we're just going to keep on with that as long as possible. And I am very glad that, strike action is starting to take a bit of a turn. I do just hope that, public opinion can be held in the camp of, it's not the writers, the writer directors and so forth. It's not the actors and so forth. It is the studios who have just got so consistently greedy, absolute
leech parasites that they are. You know, skimming everything off from everyone and screwing everyone below them over, you know.
Yeah, like, I know it may seem like a semantic difference, but, like, it's really important that when you see people going, oh, this piece of media got delayed because of the strike. No, this piece of media got delayed because the studios are refusing to agree to the strikers' very reasonable demands.
Yeah, and like, even as it is at the moment, they're not even agreeing to come to the table full stop,
Exactly.
last I heard. Like, they haven't actually been any proper negotiations
And,
in
like,
some fucking time.
We talked about this the other week, that, like, there are smaller independent studios, even, like, large independent studios, that have just blanket agreed to all of SAG's demands, and they're getting back to work. Their stuff's not delayed because of the strike, because they went, yeah, no, it is actually very reasonable to do these things, and we can afford to make profitable films regardless. You know, it is not the strikers that are holding it up. It is the you know, the studios that refuse to even basic bullshit.
Yeah, and it does feel very interesting that, you know, obviously I'm not going to name any names at this point, but it does feel interesting that certain studios who have a lot of franchise stuff going on and so forth, and are quite known for having very intense fans, that they are not willing to, you know, move at all in any way. And that is obviously going to be causing yet more friction, especially at a time when they are already struggling with certain political powers within their home states in certain ways. That might be causing a lot of friction in other ways, and yet here we are causing more of this, and I feel like this could cause a lot of problems for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not asking for, you know, anything unreasonable, are they?
No, they are asking for, you know, the kind of ability to make enough of a living to afford healthcare and a roof over your head that used to be a reasonable expectation of their career.
Yeah, well, you know, people at the top just got more and more greedy, and they forgot who it is that actually, you know. There's that whole thing about, obviously, excess capital being made from workers and so forth, but I'm glad that we're now seeing the VFX artists joining these strikes.
Oh, God, yeah. The more these strikes sort of bubble up and continue, the better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful time.
It is a beautiful time, and I hope that we see, you know, the whole industry, you know, gathering together and at least taking everyone at the top down a few pegs.
Yeah.
You know, and I reckon that there might be some negotiation. You know, that is ultimately what the union would like to do. But if anything could move at the moment, it would be it is entirely on the studios and those who are just too fucking greedy and unwilling to give anything up.
Yeah.
There's young mate.
Oh, yeah.
Good hug, mate. Good hug.
Good luck.
Right, I think I'm going to pop the kettle on.
Oh, sounds lovely.
Nice.
So, Laura,
Yes.
you do internet things on the internet,
do stuff on
writing
the
and
internet,
such, and books and so forth. Where can people find you, and what are the things that you do?
I mean, people can find me at Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere on the internet. I've got that good unified branding. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Threads. I think that's the main social media ones. You can find me on all of those. Episodes of Accessibility every Friday.
Yay.
This week's episode is speculating about the successor to the Nintendo Switch and what could be done to make it more accessible. Other than that, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. As little as $1 a month allows me to keep making stuff on the internet full-time on an ongoing basis.
Mm-hmm.
October 19th, that's a little way away yet, but look out for Stories of Autistic Joy. October 19th. It's like Gender Euphoria, but about autism stuff. And look forward to it. And if you happen to be at Gamescom soon, I'm gonna be there. So hit me up if you've got stuff there to show off, and let me know about it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, we wrote a book together. It's called Who Hunts the Whale. It's available from unbound.com/book/whale. it's still relevant, especially at a time when the industry needs to take action and is doing a good job of starting to gather union momentum. Good job, everyone. It's a silly and serious book about the video game industry and the horrors that occur within, but it's also very funny, so give it a look. I can be found at linkter.ee, that's Linktree, /Janiac, JANEIAC. You can find t-shirts I design, the music I make, the things I write, and you can help me justify a 76-hour work week at patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. As little as $1 a month really helps out. Thank you very much. Yeah, you should check out all of Laura's books and the book What I Done with Laura as well. And yeah, do all those things. But Laura, will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.